Welcome back into episode 41. So in this week's video I'm going to tackle the upper control arms. That's the ball joints and renewing the bushes. It's been a really tricky video for me to put together. It's taken a bit of time, mainly because I've been sick for a while and waiting for parts, but also because I wasn't sure exactly how to do it, so I've been sort of inching forwards bit by bit. But the good news is I got it done and they're here on the bench next to me. So sit back, I hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment, tell me tips, questions, any advice, things like that. And also please click the subscribe. But for now, let's jump on into the video. You can see how I did it. Here it is. A nice IKEA box. There's boxes everywhere of parts. So these are the upper control arms, which were sandblasted, which may be a tad aggressive. I'll put my gloves off because they're greasy. And what I want to do is inspect these ball joints. Now they're quite tricky to get hold of here. I'm really struggling to find the correct parts, but at the bare minimum what I need to do is renew the boots on them. But I want to have a look at the ball joints and just see if they're okay. If we're lucky, they're okay. I'm going to slice those off, get all the parts out, and we'll lay them on the desk and we're going to have a look at what we've got. So right, I've got the parts laid out now. So what I'm really interested in is these ball joints on top. I mean, they're super stiff, which is good. Really nice actually, that one. Yeah, they're very stiff. This, the grommet on this one's fine, the dust boot. This one is ripped. So this definitely needs replacing, and I want to take it off. And then try to assess whether we need to rebuild the ball joints as well, which is the problem part because I'm struggling to find them. Certainly in the UK they're pretty unusual. Or whether they're fine, they just need repacking with grease. So let's get that dust bit off and we can have a look. What's got the part number on it, so we can order a new one, or new two. And we'll go from there, I think. Right, so it looks like we're getting this dust boot off. You can see where they masked up the end of this, so the sandblaster didn't wreck it any further, which is why it's dirty. I think there's like a little, there it is, there's a little like a metal ring that holds it all in place. If I can just hook that off. There it comes. Right. There's the dust boot, and that's the inside of the ball joint. Gunky oil. So I think what I'll do is I'll brake fluid that to get all of the dirt off of it, which I can do outside now, and then we can assess that and just see how that feels. I don't know a lot about them. I always want to just tidy up where they didn't sandblast. Right, so after about a week of inactivity due to illness, I'm back on these ball joints. And I've watched quite a lot of videos, and I'm rethinking about rebuilding them. Mainly because there is zero movement in that. I'm pulling that up and down as much as I can. There's no movement at all. Moves beautifully smoothly, but very stiff. You can see there's hardly any movement sort of play in it at all. So I'm actually not going to rebuild them. I'm going to repack it with grease and put it all back together. I'm going to keep the only piece I'm not going to use is the little plastic bit that goes inside there that the ball joint rolls on. I think that's probably the best strategy. I don't want to pick it all apart underneath here and basically risk breaking it and not being able to do it. So I think that's just what I'm going to do going forward. So let me quickly do those. Shouldn't be too hard. Right, so the grease I've got is for bearings and universal joints, so I think it's the correct one. It's pretty good. I'm going to do it without gloves on so I can actually feel what I'm doing. So I'll pack it neatly around here. Right, today we're going to put together one of the upper control arms. I've laid out all the parts so I can check I've got everything. The trick here is to let me get my way around. So press that into there. Then we thread that up there, slide it back down, push this in, that goes on the end there. And at this end, push that in, push that in. No, I've missed out this washer, haven't I? The washer goes on first, after I do that, I think. Right, wow, I've tried everything to get this bush in. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to Dremel around just a tiny little edge on here to allow the bush to get started. And then I'm going to polish the inside of here to make it a little bit slipperier. But at the moment, as it stands, that bush will not fit in there. They're the correct bushes, but I obviously don't have a press, and trying to get the a clamp on there is just not going to squeeze it in. So I need something to allow me to get it in. So let's try this. Okay, welcome back to the bush debacle. So, I'm not going to tell you how long I've spent polishing out this and sort of dremeling off, you know, with a Dremel, to try and make the entry point nice and smooth and sort of sloped so that it feeds the bush in. And then I've lined it up and it's now going in. So that's good. That really wasn't straightforward, and I was starting to think how on earth I'm going to do this. Well, buy a press obviously is the way, but this is going in pretty straightforward now, so I'm happy about that. Check. Yeah, that is going nicely. I then need to sort of reassemble, put the rod through wherever I put that, this one. So I'll put this through and then do the other side, which I'm sure is going to be equally as hard. And I still need to slide in, there's a stainless steel sort of insert that goes inside here, which I'm pretty sure that's going to be a nightmare as well. But at least this one's going in. There. Okay, so that should be hopefully one of the bushes in. Could squeeze down a little bit more, but I'll probably nip in as I put the when I put all the nuts, the bolts on, nuts on. Great. And I need to look up quickly whether I should trim off the surplus. I've seen a couple of people do that. I'm not sure if I need to on this one. Now what I need to do is push the this bushing in like that. So first I'm just going to grind off a bit more of the edge of this to create a bit more something I can put the tip of the bush into and then force it in. So I'm doing that with a Dremel. So again, with a little bit of tinkering, I've managed to get this one to start. I just did it with these clamps, just slowly squeezing it in. I'm using the protected end on the aluminium so it doesn't damage. I'm just trying to hold it so you can see, which might be my downfall here. But now I'm just going to wind it in bit by bit either side and pull it in. Hopefully it will just go in now. Okay, these two bushes are in now. Definitely wasn't easy. There's a little bit more to do there, but I think that'll get wound in by the nut as I put it together. But we're there. So that's looking pretty decent, I think. Quite smooth. I've got the two washers to put on the ends. Oh, one more washer, sorry, I've got one on that end already. And then the nuts go on, which I've got here. And the only thing left to do then would be to torque this up and put in the spindle, which is here. And what I was doing was just cleaning off. It got a bit of powder coat at the end bit, so I'm just tidying that up. Remove the powder coat so it can slide in properly. But that is it assembled. So good, we finally got there. I need to clean this up because it's got all oily again. So I'm going to clean that up so it's nice and tidy, it's pretty. And we'll get that back on the car. Getting there slowly. Right, so there we have the first upper control arm rebuilt. Bushes all pressed in, the inserts in, new sort of dust boot with all packed with grease. That's super tight, that ball joint, so I'm happy with that. There's a couple of chips on this powder coating I need to correct that I've now done. And I want to clean up the actual item itself because it's getting a little bit scrappy where I've been working on it now. But that's one done, so let's get on to the next one. Then we can put this back on the car. I still need to torque the ends up. I don't know what to do with those yet. So I'll look in the workshop manual for the correct torque specs. But we're getting closer. So that's really good. Right, I'm going to use my Dremel to polish the sort of inside of this boss. Okay, so that's all polished out now, and I've taken off a bit of an edge, so it will help this sort of drive in. I've also done the same on the other side, so both sides are looking the same. Get a good blob of lubricant. Make sure I use enough. Right, let's see if we can drive that in. What I'm going to use is a G-clamp. G-clamp and 2 pieces of metal, basically like that, sort of sandwich it and then just pull it together. Something along those lines. Get it all lined up nicely. I'm sure it's not going to go in straight away, but let's give it a go and see what it does. We just finished that last little bit off with a hammer, so I should just tap in. Almost in. Last little bit. There we go. Right. That's that bush in. Right. So with the large washer on the spindle, pop it through that way, in that way, and then I need to drive this insert in this way, like that. Pop a nut on it, and then down this end we do exactly the same, just drive that bush in, drive in the insert, and we're pretty much there. There's no washer on the inside here because obviously I wouldn't be able to push it through this to get it all out, so that's the side that doesn't have the washer. I'm just using some pulley pullers to drive the insert in, which is going in okay. It's just slightly wonky, which I'm hoping it's just going to pull itself straight in a second. I think it's going in okay though. It's definitely going in, so there's a lot of choice about it. Okay, with that bushing in, now we thread the, that way around, we thread that in. So that goes in there like that. Move that down. a washer and a nut on the end. There you go, like that. That's that end done. Also needs tightening up. And then on the other end, we take the other bush, which is here somewhere, there, and drive that in there. So that's going to be a bit of a problem as well. But we'll drive that in, and then I'll drive this in afterwards with the puller. Right. So let's lubricate this up, and then we can try. Right, the last job on these up control arms is just to pick off the powder coating, where the powder coat's got a little bit carried away and it's gone down the thread a little bit here. You did it on the other one, I've just done that one already, and the easiest way I found was just with a screwdriver, just to sort of grind it out basically. So that wraps up this week's video. Finally got these built, and I think they look pretty good. What I opted for in the end was to actually go over these with the wire brush to flatten down and polish that sort of very aggressive sandblast texture, which, if I'm honest with myself, is just going to get dirty and sort of corrode even quicker. So the finish of these, I'll try and give you a quick look over them. It's very smooth, really nice, really looks good. And I think it'll be much more durable. I'm not treating them in any way though. I'm not spraying them or anything like that. I'm going to leave them raw as Porsche intended, I believe. So they're ready to go back on the car. So in next week's video, I'm expecting to have these going on with the suspension and stuff, which is going to be pretty exciting to see that come together. I also want to have the front bumper off, so I might do that first because it's a bit easier to get in there. I want to treat stuff around the front, just make sure there's no rust sort of lurking under the bumper. And in the back of my mind, I'm constantly sort of preparing to clean the engine bay out. I've bought a spray can of the correct colour, so I can sort of, as I go, I can be spraying and sort of restoring it. Getting closer, getting quite exciting now. Really looking forward to getting the suspension back together. That's a massive lump of work that will be sort of complete, and I can start thinking then about the brakes and everything else. The master cylinder came back, that's looking fantastic. The servo has gone away and needs completely rebuilding, so that's still away while I try to work out where I can get the Bakelite sort of bit on it. I don't know what it is. I'm still trying to source that, so more from that in the future. But yeah, getting there. Very exciting. So as ever, thank you for watching. Please click the subscribe button. Leave comments if you have any input, whatever. Tips, advice, questions. Just leave a question, leave a comment for me. And I'll see you next time.